Most of you know that the Centers for Spiritual Living national, worldwide organization has declared this year as the world that works for everyone. And based on our local commitments, we have proclaimed it a world that we're helping make the world a happier place. So, same sort of principle. This talk is based on the notes of Jim Lockhart, Dr. Jim Lockhart of Simi Valley. And the topic that he proclaimed was the one manifested itself in and through all creation, but it's not absorbed by its creation. So that's what we'll be talking about today. I think that as an example of that, to clarify what that sentence means, the one that manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. I think of a candle. So you see that we can light another candle from this candle, and this light will not be affected by that at all. And then from that candle, we can light other candles, and none of them are affected at all. So we are, in essence, the same in the way that we demonstrate the one, the universal one, that manifests through all of us, and still is not absorbed by its manifestations. And I don't know about, I haven't seen too many of these, but in New Mexico there's gazillion elm trees. And when spring comes, itsy tiny, tiny seeds blow from those elm trees everywhere. And they take root and start new elm trees. The original elm tree is not affected, but it sees the world. Now, some people are not happy about that because they're not crazy about elm trees, but you know, the point is still the same. So the energy of spirit can't be exhausted. And we live in a physical universe where nothing is ever lost. Nothing is ever lost. And that energy makes up the universe, and it is constant, and it never runs out. Our energy is always fully available. So have you ever felt exhausted? You get home at the end of the day and you're just exhausted. Just want to veg. And then you get a phone call from someone, a friend, who says, hey, you want to go do this? And suddenly you're re-energized and you're filled with excitement, and there's no exhaustion. And that's how the whole universe works. There's always energy available. So spiritual energy is infinite, and its tendency is to be expressed. There's always enough to spare and share, and enough to cause our attitude to be excited if we allow it to be. So I wanted to tell you this story. I have shared this before, but I mentioned that I'm from Albuquerque, and in Albuquerque there's a restaurant called Tim's Place. And Tim has Down syndrome. And so he has this restaurant, and the whole concept of the restaurant is that Tim hugs everyone that comes into the restaurant. And it's a phenomenal success. People are standing at the doors waiting to get their hug from Tim. And so I just noticed on the news, Steve Hartman said that Tim's Place is closing. So, Tim's place is closing because Tim has a girlfriend. Her name is Tiffany, and she lives in Denver. Yes, it was just recently in the news. And so Tim is closing up Tim's place to move to Denver, and he invited Tiffany down on his knee to be his girlfriend. And so Steve Hartman said to Tim, "What do you see when you look at Tiffany?" And he said, "I see love." This is Tim saying, "I see love, I see joy, and I see I have a future." And Steve Hartman closed his piece by saying, "And we call people like Tim handicapped." So, we can see that the world is full of potential, and we're the ones that limit ourselves and our abilities and what can be accomplished. Eckhart Tolle, I just have been reading this. He said in The New Earth, he talks about how we are the microcosmic reflections of the macrocosmic, and he says, "The outer purpose of the universe is to create form and experience the interactions of the form, the play, the dream, the drama, or whatever you choose to call it. Its inner purpose is to awaken to its formless essence. Then comes the reconciliation of outer and inner purpose to bring that essence, consciousness, into the world of form, and thereby transform the world." He continues, "Nothing we say about the nature of the universe should be taken as an absolute truth. Neither concepts nor mathematical formulas can explain the infinite. No thought can be encapsulated and encapsulate the vastness of the totality. Reality is a unified whole, but thought cuts it up into little pieces and little fragments. Only the whole is true, but the whole cannot be spoken or thought." So we're the ones that chop up the infinite. We're the ones that make our limits and create limitations. And the idea that, oh, this is impossible. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, no, because it's never been done before. The infinite is infinite. And we're the ones that chop it up, and we're the ones that limit the universe, and we're the ones that say, oh no, that cannot be. So for years and centuries and untold times, we have said that people like Tim were not capable. But in fact, his family saw him in a different way. They chose to look at him in a different way, full of possibilities. And he went to culinary school, and he opened a restaurant. Now there are people that would have said, that would never happen. But the truth of the matter is, his family decided to take a different view, to look at things a little bit differently. Ernest Holmes says this: in the science of mind, we learn that persistent, constructive thought is the greatest power known and the most effective. Thought greatest power known and the most effective. Thought is creative. He continues, let's see. If the visible effect in our lives is not what it should be, if we are unhappy, sick, and poverty-stricken, we know the remedy. We know the remedy. The truth is always the remedy, and the truth is that the law of liberty is the only real law. When we reverse the process of thought, the effect will be reversed. We limit our lives by our thoughts. The oh yes buts, those dreadful buts. I always say give the butts a boot. The universe is limitless. We are limitless. There's nothing that we can't do except what we believe we cannot do. Our thoughts are creative, and our thoughts can be infinite. I always marvel at, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, all the things that we thought was impossible. And look how the world has shifted and changed in such a quick, dramatic way. We have technology that we never would have dreamed would be possible, or we dreamed it, the Dick Tracy kind of watched communications. And they have that now. I'm looking for the shoe that you can call up on, but you know what, I just happened to think, I heard this the other day, that your shoes can take your blood pressure, can tell you how many calories you've burned. Pretty soon, if you want, you'll probably be able to take off your shoe and call home. Waiting for that, I get lost a lot.
But would you want to?
Ties its own shoelaces for you.
The world is full of infinite possibilities, and we haven't even begun to think of what kind of weird, bizarre, technological possibility there is. But it's all in potential. It's all in potential. We have only to open our minds to the possibilities, because that is what is creative. The thought is what is creative. And then the how-to always easily and effortlessly, falls into place. We have to do some work. We have to do something. We talked about that last week, about the doing and the being. And they're not contradictory. They're not contradictory. They're on a what do you call this thing?
Continuum?
Continuum, thank you very much, lost that word. They're on a continuum. It's not either or. It's not action, idea. It is all things, both. So when we get an idea and we move forward, we only have to do the next right thing. We only have to take the next right step. And then the universe flows into our lives and shows us the way. The microcosm of the macrocosm. Whatever we are believing in this world that is impossible, let's say peace. Peace is possible. Peace is possible. But what happens? We say, yes, but. Yes, but. Yes, but how do we convince ISIS to be peaceful? That's not our job. Our job is to be it. Each one of us has the potential for being peaceful. How's that working for you? We don't have to live for the rest of the world. We only have to live for ourselves. When I tend to my own garden, then my garden flourishes. And just like the elm seeds, it blows to parts unknown, touching the world and people in ways that I could never have imagined. Yesterday I got an email from a client that I used to have who was in the facility for drug addicts and, that I used to work for. I haven't been in contact with her at all, and I'm not exactly sure how she found me, but I guess because my name's just on the internet. But she emailed me and she wanted me to know that I had made a difference in her life. She's drug free, she's in a partnership, and she's going to school to be a drug counselor. I thought that was really cool. Just seeds that get planted, that take roots, that bear fruit. And that's not unusual for me. I'm just sharing that just as an example, but I absolutely know that each one of you have touched lives in ways you could never imagine. You've planted the seeds. You've moved forward to create a better world, a happier world. And it's not for us to decide where the seeds are going to blow. It's not for us to decide how it's all going to unfold. It's only for us to do and be who we are and allow the universe to do and be what it must be and do. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. And what's for us to do and be, the universe is going to do and be. So, the idea that we're limited in our expression of spirit is an old idea that does not stand the rigors of true examination. We are called from within and without to a greater expression of life. And there is nothing in spirit that can say no to that reality. Spirit is always going to say yes to you. Always going to say yes to you. It must follow the creative impulse within us today and every day. But we absolutely are responsible for what we send out into the universe. If we send out the oh no's, the oh that won't happen, the yes buts, if we send out the anger and the negativity, that's what takes root in the world. And it's not going to take too many of us. We were talking about that figure the other day. I'm not absolutely sure what it is. 0.07 of the total universal population that can shift the consciousness. So each person that each one of us touches has the potential for the shift. The shift of peace, the shift of possibilities, the shift to total acceptance without judgment, the shift to love. I heard somebody say the other day that unconditional love is a misnomer, and that's true. There's only love, or there's the opposite of love. So, we are the microcosm of the macrocosm. We are the ones to manifest the truth in this world. And the truth is that love is the only power. And each one of us has that. So, for your affirmation for this week, today I call forth the infinite and the inexhaustible energy of spirit, knowing that I am fully supported in all that I choose to do in my life. Let me say it again. Today I call forth the infinite and the inexhaustible energy of spirit, knowing that I am fully supported in all that I choose to do in life. You're it. The world's counting on you. Cannot be otherwise. I love you all. Namaste. So I invite the practitioners to stand and join with me to hold this community in prayer. I permit myself to turn within, and as I speak in the first person, just allow my words to be your words. I am so grateful for all things. I'm so grateful for a full, rich heart, filled to overflowing and filled to expansive love. I give thanks for the limitless possibilities that I represent. I give thanks for the limitless joy that is available to each one of us. I give thanks for limitless love, which goes forth and opens hearts, heals, soothes, brings joy. I know that as I express love, as we express love in this community, in our lives, we're going forth. We're touching others. We're setting an example. We're living from the principle of love, harmony. And from that place, we set up, we build, 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 vibrational tone, if you will. We set up a shimmer of light and laughter. We are the examples. And so I call forth that law that takes my word, takes my thoughts, my ideas, and returns them to me fulfilled in ways that I could never have expected, and exciting, humorous, joyful, amazing, miraculous ways. And I acknowledge that I am the only limit in the universe. So I open my doors wide. I open my heart wide. All channels are now free. And I absolutely know the whole wide world, the whole universe says yes to me. And so on your behalf, I say yes for all good, all joy, all vigor, vitality, all laughter, all abundance. I say yes to it all. And I give thanks for it right now at this moment, knowing that it cannot be otherwise. I declare it done, and I invite you to join with me as we say,